Right, here's the quiz correction quickly. True or false, the sum of exterior angles is always 360. That's true. If the exterior angle of a regular polygon is 24, then the interior angle is, so you just subtract, right? It's just a supplement. So you go 180 minus 24, that is 156 degrees. The sum of interior angles of an that's what it's supposed to be here, irregular heptagon is, and even for irregular, it's still, heptagon is 7, so 7 minus 2, that's 5 times 180 is 900. So it's still 900 no matter whether it's regular or irregular. The central angle of a regular polygon is 11.25. Determine the number of sides. We know that central is 360 divided by n, right? That's how to find the central. They give you the central. So it's 11.25 is equal to 360 over n. So it's really 360 divided by 11.25, and that's 32. True or false? Corresponding angles are always congruent. That's false. It's only if the lines that they're on are parallel. Okay. Next, given f of x, this is supposed to have a little square there, by the way. My bad. This is supposed to be in descriptive form. The value of k resulting in one x-intercept would be, right? That would have to be 0, right? That's the only way, because if k is 0, then you're right on it. So it doesn't matter if it's going up or down. You're right on the x-axis. So that's what's supposed to go there. State the quadratic equation that points up and that has a y-intercept of -3. So the one that gives you the y-intercept is the standard form, right? So if you want something that's pointing up, 4x minus 3. There you go. That's all you need. So that there, I need the -3 there and a positive a value. This term doesn't have to be there, right? As long as I see the x squared. True or false? Consecutive interior angles are supplementary only if lines are parallel. That is true. And given this quadratic equation, state the range if h stands for height and t for time. So there's a context. Right? There's a context here. And in this case, we have the range represents the y values, right? Range is for y values. So this has a max of 15. So you go from 0 to 15 like this. True or false? The exterior and interior angles are supplementary in a convex polygon. That is true. They're always 180. A nonagon, right? N is equal to 9. Has the following exterior angles. So we're talking exterior, right? 3 angles measuring 35, 3 angles measuring 40, 2 angles measuring 42. Determine the unknown exterior angle. So the unknown exterior angle, we can call that x. We know that the exterior angles always add up to 360. So we'll just go 3 times 35 minus 3 times 40 minus 2 times 42. And so just checking, 3 and 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. So we've got 8 angles, which will give us the last one. So I'll go 360 minus 3 times 35 minus 3 times 40 minus 2 times 42, and that's 51 degrees. And you get 1.5 marks for that. Half a mark for having the 360 there, and then another mark for getting that value correctly calculated. Okay, next, number 2, in no particular order, but I will say that I'm starting with A because I see that these two lines are parallel. So that means that these two are corresponding and they will be congruent because of that. So it's 125 degrees and corresponding angles are congruent. Okay. I will do B next because I now have that this is 125 here. So I can use the sum of a triangle to help me out with B. So we have 180 minus 125 minus the 35, and that gives me 20 degrees. So 20 degrees is that, and then just write down sum of triangles 180 with some work. C can be done next, right? And we know that these are parallel lines. So this is, if you travel here, you go up and then over their alternate interior. So, and we know they're congruent. Alternate interior angles are congruent, right? So that's how you get the 35 in there. And D is a straight angle or consecutive interior to this. It's up to you. So we get 180 minus 35, and that's 145 degrees straight angle. So that's 145 there. Okay, that's my fourth angle that I found. I would prefer if you tell me which one you did first. And that's that for this page. Backside is line L parallel to M. And here you have to do a little bit of work because right now we don't have a name for these two, right? So you can find this is 180 minus 100, right? And that's 80 degrees, right? We know that this 80, and now we have a name for that. So because they're not congruent, right? Alternate interior angles are not congruent, therefore L is not parallel to M. That's it. And over here, alternate exterior angles are congruent, therefore L is parallel to M. That's it. One mark each. You name them and you say, right, you make an observation. Yes, they're congruent, therefore parallel. They're not congruent, not parallel, right? And just watch out for consecutive interior. That has to be supplementary. And label, we're supposed to label all these angles in here. So to get the, I guess we'll start with the interior. So if you just grab one of these and put an I there, you get the half mark there. The exterior angle, you just extend one of the sides, and that's your exterior. And the central is found by going to the middle and just making a slice, and that's the central angle right there. Calculate the measure of each interior angle, and I'll make an observation that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. N is equal to 8, so that would be 6 times 180. I already take away the 2, okay? That's 135. I'm just going to double check that. Yeah. 135, that's that. Calculate the measure of each exterior angle using two methods. So we would go 360 divided by 8, and that's 45 degrees, or exterior angle is 180 minus the interior, and that's 180 minus 135, that's 45 degrees. A polygon has a regular polygon has an interior angle of 172. Determine the number of sides. I find that the exterior angle is 8 degrees. So we say that 8 degrees, right? The exterior angle is equal to 360 over n. But the one here, it's really 360 times 1, which is just 360 divided by 8, right? And so we come up with 45 sides. So one mark for this and one mark for that. And if you use the interior angle formula to figure that out, that is just fine. And now the more complicated one that was fairly fresh. So I hear I know your frustration here, but we'll go over it and you get to redo this after, right? So let's focus first on the exterior, the outside shape, okay? That's what I'm going to focus on. So I'm going to count one, like I'm going to make a mark here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I make a note that n is equal to 10. And nowhere in here, like the variable is not attached to an actual interior angle, but you should still go ahead and find one interior angle. Okay, so I will do that over here. So I of 10 is equal to n minus 2, which is 8 times 180 divided by 10. And that's 144. So we know that these here, each one of the interior angles measures 144 degrees, right? All around. But I'm just going to label these 3. So my first step is to try to find y. And I see up, if you consider this diagonal here, you should see a pentagon. That's an isosceles pentagon. Inside this decagon, right? So we have a decagon on the outside, right? That's our starting point. We found the interior angle for it. And then we carefully label that so we know, okay, that's the roof of this house, right? And this angle right here will be the same as that. Bottom line is that to get this, we'll just get the sum minus these 3 angles divided by 2 to get y. Okay, so that's, I will start with y just because I'm already talking about it, but if you went to get x first, that's just fine. So to get y, we go 540, and that should be on your study sheet. That's the sum of interior angles of a pentagon, minus 3 times 144, all of that divided by 2, right? And we get 540 times 3 times 144, minus, I should say, sorry. That's 108 divided by 2, which is 54 degrees. So you just found that this is 54, and actually that this is also 54, but we just need to answer for y. So I'm going to come over here and just say that's 54 degrees. Now I'm going to fix my eye on this, on the x here. I know that this is 144, and I know that this is 144. Okay, that gets me this sliver, which is 180 minus 144. That's 36. And same here, that's 36 also. So to get x, we're just going to subtract. I'm just going to do this over here. X is equal to 180 minus 2 times 36. So that's 72, right? So that's 108 degrees. There for x. It's basically an isosceles triangle that is formed outside. And last but not least is z. Z is going to be found by taking the interior angle of the decagon and subtracting y from it, right? Because this whole thing is interior. So we get that it's 144 minus 54, and Z is equal to 90 degrees there. So we've got that 90 there. Put that over here. And there you go. That's the quiz. Have a great break, guys.